Supreme Court upholds constitutional validity of UP Madarsa Act. Supreme Court sets the record straight on Madarsa Act. Did Supreme Court just redefine secular education? Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Khalistani extremists have attacked Hindu Canadian devotees at the Hindu Sabha temple in Brampton, Canada. There is anger among the Hindu community everywhere, and in Canada there is a growing realization about the way in which the Khalistanis are targeting the Hindu community. When we speak about Hindu phobia, we are often told we are right-wingers, Republic is a right-wing network. To all those people who call us right-wing for simply speaking up for Hindus, I just want to ask them, do you become a better Hindu if you are quiet when your temples are attacked? I think not. My counter question to all of these people is, do they expect Republic to speak against Hindus when there are targeted attacks against the Hindu community? Hindus are facing threats across the globe, way in which Hindus are being targeted in North America. And it's an unfortunate reality that even in India, Hindus are being targeted here as well. But more importantly than all of this, the good thing is that Hindus are now consolidating. Republic will stand by the Hindu community each time there is a targeting of the Hindu community in India or anywhere globally. Hindus must together raise the voice.
The U.S. presidential elections of 2024 holds a historic significance either way. If Vice President Kamala Harris wins, she's not going to be only the first female president of the United States of America, but she's going to be the first female president of Asian descent. On the other hand, should Donald Trump secures a victory this time, it's going to be the greatest political comeback in American history.
Western media takes side on presidential polls. Unprecedented media bias in 2024 presidential polls. Is Trump fighting Harris or the media? Debating tonight at 8:30 p.m. Wikipedia's skewed anti-India narrative. Wikipedia open for all, safe for none. Arnab asks, free knowledge or biased narrative? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
In his final campaign stop before the election day, Donald Trump rallied in the battleground state of North Carolina, again emphasizing on national security, concern over open borders, and vowed to address the illegal immigration. On the other hand, Kamala Harris made her final pitch to the Pennsylvania voters.
Khalistani extremists have attacked Hindu Canadian devotees at the Hindu Sabha temple in Brampton, Canada. There is anger among the Hindu community everywhere, and in Canada there is a growing realization about the way in which the Khalistanis are targeting the Hindu community. When we speak about Hindu phobia, we are often told we are right-wingers, Republic is a right-wing network. To all those people who call us right-wing for simply speaking up for Hindus, I just want to ask them, do you become a better Hindu if you are quiet when your temples are attacked? I think not. My counter question to all of these people is, do they expect Republic to speak against Hindus when there are targeted attacks against the Hindu community? Hindus are facing threats across the globe, way in which Hindus are being targeted in North America. And it's an unfortunate reality that even in India, Hindus are being targeted here as well. But more importantly than all of this, the good thing is that Hindus are now consolidating. Republic will stand by the Hindu community each time there is a targeting of the Hindu community in India or anywhere globally. Hindus must together raise the voice.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic. From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
The most interesting thing for me when I look at the American elections from an Indian perspective or a global perspective is the death of the American media. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the biggest story of the American election for me as a journalist and for you as well. If you want to look at it, the big story is the death of the American media. There is no objective media in the United States of America anymore. The second point in my view is that this is not a battle between Donald Trump and this puppet called Kamala Harris. The battle is between Donald Trump and a large section of the media. It is the media that has taken it upon itself to defeat Donald Trump. They have made it a personal agenda. If Donald Trump wins, this large section of the American media will lose. If Donald Trump loses, this large section of the American media will win. It is a do or die for large sections of the American media like the New York Times, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN. They are all largely anti-Trump and they make no bones about it. They are not even pretending to be neutral. It's an all-out battle. They have to stop Donald Trump from winning somehow. Let me ask you viewers, does this ring a bell for you in India? Does it sound like the way large section of the media have positioned themselves in the past against Narendra Modi? Think about it. However, I want to place some facts before you as well. If some people say that, no, this is an exaggeration, well, I tell them the one big lesson of the coverage of the American election and all those people in India, who always tell us, look at BBC, look at CNN, learn coverage from them. Today, we despise the way in which the BBC and CNN have become fellow travelers of a political party. The BBC has become a fellow traveler of the Hamas. The BBC is a fellow traveler of Zelensky. The BBC is a fellow traveler, and CNN are fellow travelers with Kamala Harris. They made it deeply personal, deeply, deeply personal. Let me share some statistics. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Media Research Center, ABC, CBS, and NBC have dedicated 200 minutes of airtime, predominantly focusing on negative coverage of controversies around Trump while downplaying or ignoring issues related to Harris. In the 72 hours after the assassination attempt on Trump, ABC, CBS, and NBC coverage of Trump was 95% negative, which is 5% casting Trump in a positive light, which means that after he survives an assassination attempt, these networks blame him, not the assassin. That's how biased they become. They just don't care anymore. For them, it's deeply, deeply personal. When these people watch the results today, I think many of them are just going to have a heart attack if Trump comes close to winning. In fact, I won't be surprised if many of these biased news networks in America and around the world call the election for Harris even before the counting starts. Ladies and gentlemen, the entire issue is now of endorsements. If you do not endorse Kamala Harris, you're a bad person. If you try to remain neutral, you must be boycotted. The only person they can't tackle in all of this is Elon Musk, because they need Musk's cars and they need Musk's rockets. Viewers, American politics is taking a very interesting turn. For me, as a journalist in India, the big headline is the death of the media. Even if that section of the media wins, if Trump loses, it would have lost the battle for respect. which is why it is time for Indian news networks, networks from our part of the world, to dominate the global airwaves. Our time is coming. Ladies and gentlemen, the second debate this evening, the real battle, in my view, is not Trump versus Kamala Harris, it's Trump versus media. Debate number 1 tonight. You have a huge debate on madrasas and why the Supreme Court's decision on madrasas and secular education is so important. That's in a few minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, at 9 o'clock, the lie called Wikipedia, how it is the most untrustworthy source in the world, the inside details of the dirty details, the dangerous details of how it is operating, and the truth about this most untrustworthy publishing house is at 9 o'clock tonight. And here are the headlines this Tuesday evening on the debate tonight. Wikipedia is in huge trouble. The government takes a position on Wikipedia. This Wikipedia has been criticized everywhere for its falsehoods, its lies, and its lack of responsibility. But the details of the shadowy operation with shadowy funding are going to be put out for everyone at 9 o'clock tonight. The Supreme Court paves the way for madrasa reform, upholds the Uttar Pradesh Madarsa Act, but says the provision on awarding of higher degrees is in conflict with the provisions of the University Grants Commission. Heavy campaigning in poll-bound Jharkhand. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's blitzkrieg. He compares Sovereign Minister Alamgir with Aurangzeb. And stand by for the most relevant and extensive and fast coverage on the run to the White House, the race to the 270 mark, Trump or Harris. The build-up has started on Republic. And first, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court of India has upheld the constitutional validity of the Uttar Pradesh Madarsa Education Act. This decision is already sparking an intense debate, because questions are asked about the kind of education one receives in madrasas, whether they need to be modernized, and what is a secular education, what is a modern education, and what is not. Let's debate.
In a far-reaching verdict, the Supreme Court has upheld the constitutional validity of the UP Madarsa Education Act. It set aside the Allahabad High Court's March judgment that declared the Act unconstitutional and a violation of the principles of secularism. The top court observed that the Act regulates education in madrasas and provides education to lakhs of students, empowering them to lead a better life and earn a livelihood when they grow up. The apex body also said that the Act is within the legislative competence of the state. The verdict has been widely welcomed.
ये एक बहुत खुशी और मसरत का मकाम है कि हम लोग अपने पूरी आज़ादी के साथ, पूरी कानूनी आज़ादी के साथ अपने इन मदरसों को रन करते रहेंगे।
बहुत खुशी है मुझे, जो फैसला है बहुत अच्छा फैसला आया है। मदरसे बिल्कुल चलते रहना चाहिए, और मैं कहता हूँ देश में कोई भी ऐसे लोग नहीं है कि जो जाके महल्लों से यतीम बच्चों को उठाएं, जिनके माँ बाप मर गए हैं, जिनके पास खाने को नहीं है। मदरसे वाले उनको उठाते हैं, ले जाते हैं, नहलाते धुलाते हैं, कपड़ा दिलाते हैं और एक अच्छा इंसान बना के निकलते हैं।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट के इस फैसले का स्वागत करता हूँ, और ये सही फैसला है कि मदरसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के मुताबिक ही चलाए जा रहे हैं, और अक़लियतों को, मुसलमानों को हक हासिल है कि वो अपनी मर्जी के मदरसे चलाएं।
The BJP is all praise for UP Chief Minister Yogi modernizing madrasas.
हमारे मुस्लिम समाज के बच्चे भी आगे आए और डॉक्टर, इंजीनियर, IAS, IPA बने, इसलिए हमने मदरसा मॉडर्नाइजेशन किया है आदरणीय योगी सरकार ने। तो जो माननीय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय का फैसला है, हम उसका स्वागत करते हैं और हम उसके अनुपालन में काम करते हैं। आदरणीय मोदी जी ने साफ कह दिया था कि एक हाथ में कुरान, एक हाथ में कंप्यूटर, तो आप कुरान भी लीजिए और कंप्यूटर हम इसलिए दे रहे हैं कि दुनिया हासिल करें।
The Supreme Court bench, however, noted that while the Act is valid, provisions granting higher education degrees under the Fazil and Kamil programs conflict the University Grants Commission Act. Still, it's a legal respite for lakhs of madrasa students across Uttar Pradesh. So the question is, why were madrasa reforms being opposed in the name of secularism?
So there are two ways of looking at it. Either you can say that the Supreme Court has upheld the validity of the UP Madarsa Act. The second way of looking at it is that modernization of madrasas becomes very important now. Giving proper education. And the Supreme Court says that the Madarsa Act regulates the standard of education in a madrasa as recognized by the board for imparting madrasa education is consistent with the positive obligation of the state to ensure that students studying in recognized madrasas attain a level of competency which will allow them to effectively participate in society and to earn a living. Only learning about religion, therefore, will not be enough. Modernization of madrasas becomes an essential and very important thing in our society now, so that students studying in madrasas can become lawyers, engineers, or at least aspire to become doctors and software professionals. That is my reading. So there has to be a secular standard of education. Swapnil, how do you read what the Supreme Court has said today?
Arnab, the Supreme Court has pretty much underwritten the fact that education is a key to not only maintain secularism, but also to ensure that it's continuous. Given the fact that we have about 27 crores minorities in this country, which in itself forms in some form of a majority, I think education will pave a big way, Arnab, not only for secular structure, but even for the establishment, not only of a uniform country, but also of the uniform civil code. I think this is another precursor or a step in the right direction where the uniform civil code is a much wanted necessity. And the Supreme Court is ensuring that step by step, let us go ahead with this. It has ensured, of course, on the bare perusal of the UGC Act, it has said that, well, entry 66 of the concurrent list 1, which is the union list, says that, you cannot, the state cannot subjugate, the state has to subjugate itself to that. And then entry 25 of the concurrent list is where the state has powers limited. So it has subjugated itself to the UGC Act. So the Fazil and the Kamil degrees have been taken out of the equation. So that is something which I am very, very happy about, that the court has ensured that there is an equitable balance between the two lists, because the concurrent list has to eventually subjugate itself to the union list if there is a superriding power in the union list on that particular subject. Now, to make it very easy, Arnab, for your viewers, basically in simpliciter language, the Supreme Court is saying that yes, Article 30 of the Constitution empowers the the minorities to administer and establish and administer the educational institutions. But at the same time, you have to remember the preambular promise of secularism, and it has to be in a modernized manner. It cannot be ossified thinking from ghettos, and it needs to move shoulder to shoulder if the minorities need to come up and really walk shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the India. And that's why the reason you see the UP...
Okay, I'll open the debate now, Swapnil. Yeah. I don't see any reason why anyone should oppose the modernization of madrasas. Yeah. Let madrasas stay, let legal madrasas stay, Ratan Sharda. Yeah. But then I think the education system in madrasas should be brought in line with 2024. Right? Ratan Sharda, how do you view this? What would you say to Anurag Bhadouria?
Anurag Bhadouria is already celebrating this particular judgment, so what can I tell him? My view is that as far as Madarsa Act is concerned, what we have come to is that we have modernized the madrasas.
आप संविधान और न्यायपालिका को नहीं मानते तो इसमें मेरी कोई गलती नहीं है। हम हिंदुस्तानी हैं,
अनुराग जी, मैंने आपको बधाई दी, आपको मैंने कुछ कहा नहीं, आप क्या भड़क रहे हैं?
आप संविधान को
आपको बोलने की इतनी आदत है, किसी को बोलने नहीं देते आप। ये बड़ी समस्या आपके साथ कि आप टीवी के सामने आए कि आपका मुंह बंद ही नहीं होता है। मैं कुछ बोल लूं, मैं कुछ बोल लूं, ठीक है, आपको और भड़काने की बात करूं, मैं क्या करूं?
जब न्यायपालिका
We go with the breaking news. Ratan Sharda, let him complete what he wants to say and then I'll bring you in. Yes.
आपको सिर्फ
बोलिए आनुराग जी, बोलिए।
समाज के अंदर में जब भी बात करनी है तो हमेशा नहीं, मैं शारदा जी, आप जब भी मुंह खोलते हैं तो कभी हिंदुस्तानी की बात नहीं करते क्या? हिंदुस्तानी में तो सभी लोग आते हैं ना, हिंदुस्तानी कोई भी हो, चाहे हिंदू हो, मुस्लिम हो, सिख हो, ईसाई हो, अगड़े पिछड़ो, हम सब हिंदुस्तानी है। किसी की जैसे हिंदुस्तानी की कोई बात होती है, आप बोल, मुझे पता ना क्या बोलना चाहते हैं, इतने सालों से क्या बोल रहे हो आप, इतने आप नहीं, आपका बोलने का मतलब मैं समझ गया था ना क्या बोलना चाहते हो आप, इतनी तो समझ है मुझे, इसके लिए तो समझ है मुझे क्या बोलना चाह रहे हैं आप। इसलिए कम से कम बात करूं, नहीं मैं भड़क इस बात पे रहा हूं, आप टॉन्ट मारते हो ना,
मुस्लिम पढ़ता है, मैंने उसका इस बारे में आपकी समस्या है कि आप हर चीज को हरे चश्मे से देखते हैं। जरा चश्मा उतारिए, हम जजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, हम कोई और बात नहीं कर रहे हैं। आपको जो पीड़ा है मुझे पता नहीं चलता कि पीड़ित क्यों है। जजमेंट आपके फेवर में है तब भी आप पीड़ित हैं, मुस्लिम समाज के बारे में अच्छी आई है तब भी आप पीड़ित हैं। आपने पीड़ा से बाहर निकलेंगे, मुझे बताइए आप किस बात से पीड़ित हैं? ऐसी कौन सी बात मैंने कही कि आपको पीड़ा लग गया? मुझे बताइए ना।
आपके अंदर से निकल गया ना,
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जजमेंट दिया मदरसा के फेवर में, उसके मॉडरेशन के फेवर में, आप फिर भी पीड़ित हैं। आप चाहते हैं कोई इस बारे में बात ही मत करें, आप चाहते हैं जो कहे उस पर झंडा लगा दे, मुंह बंद रख ले। ऐसे मुंह बंद नहीं होगा। आप सुप्रीम, आप यूपी में अपने जितने दंगे फंदे करके आपको मुंह बंद करने करिए आप, लेकिन टीवी पे आप मेरा मुंह बंद नहीं कर सकते। आप बोलते रहेंगे फिर मैं बोलूंगा। अब मैं ये कहता हूं कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा जीरो दे, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा कि आर्टिकल 30 allows minorities to run their own institutions, but should they allow the institution only to give religious education?
Ratan Sharda, please. Ratan Sharda, bring him
equal to education. No, is religious education equal to academic education? So Fazil and Nazil judgment is what is paining him. If it is secularism, they say we are nurturing secularism, zero though, why has place of worship act not been repealed? Why the act of right to education exempting minorities not removed? Why the Waqf Board Act, which is totally against secularism, why that is being nurtured by these people? So you cannot have a hypocritical stand. If you say this Vinod secularism, you say every people must have right to live or jinedo, then please repeal Waqf Act Board, which is totally against and every other community in India. Please see to it that place of worship act does not stop us Hindus to gain their right. Please see to it that this this particular right to education is not exempt for the minorities because they are part of the same society. वही हिंदुस्तानी है जिनकी बात आप कर रहे हो। हिंदुस्तानी अगर है तो राइट टू एजुकेशन में सभी हिस्सा ले। राइट टू एजुकेशन में क्यों नहीं अच्छे मदरसे, क्यों नहीं अच्छे स्कूल, क्यों नहीं अच्छे इंजीनियरिंग के अंदर आपको एडमिशन मिलती? क्यों राइट टू एजुकेशन के अंदर जामिया मिलिया में, अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में दलितों को एडमिशन नहीं मिलती? दलितों के करवाए अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी में, जामिया मिलिया में, तब सेक्युलरिज्म की दहाई क्या दे रहे हैं? What is your debate on secularism when you cannot open your mouth about?
I think the moot point is, are we a secular country? And with the greatest of respect to the Supreme Court, please, if the volume can come down, with the greatest of respect to the Supreme Court, the question that we must ask, with respect to their lordships, I respect their lordships, I respect the Supreme Court a lot. But I cannot understand why, if we are a secular country, the right to education does not apply to minority education institutions. If it applies to institutions run by the majority community, why should the right to education not apply for minority education institutions if we are a secular country? What's the logic there? Does this make us a more inclusive country or a more exclusive country, Swapnil?
Yes, Arnab, that is reservation. They have abolished and a lot of lawyers have debated it within the corridors of the courts as well. And this is something which I've tried to read it outside, inside, every single possible way. But I think what the logic of the Supreme Court in its interpretative aspect, and this is more a question to do or not with the Parliament. Why has the Parliament enacted it in such a manner that it does not apply to the minority institutions? And then the Supreme Court's job is basically interpret it. Now to interpret it in the more evolved manner that you are talking about is absolutely, glorious and noble. But at the end of the day, the Supreme Court cannot rewrite the legislative aspect. So it is the Parliament's job to understand this aspect. Now the point is, Arnab, where I have read it and where I have understood it is that if you remember, if you know, and I'm sure you know this, that there is an establishment clause in the US Constitution which says separation of the church from the state. Neither the government controls religion nor there is a religion controlling the government. So at the end of the day, what this act was trying to do, whereby excluding the minority institutions, is that let the right of education be sacrosanct itself. It should not apply to that, because then there is Article 30, which wants to establish and administer educational institutions in its own way. So now if there is a secular criminal code, if there is a secular civil code, which is called the Uniform Civil Code, then maybe what you're asking is something which the Parliament may do.
And there is another aspect. There's another aspect. And I would say this to people running Hindu institutions also. I would say, suppose there is somebody running a Hindu institution where they want to focus on teaching about the Ved, Upanishads, Hindu history, etc., Hindu Sanskrit texts. I feel proud today when I go to places and Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, Vedic philosophy is taught. I feel they are doing a great service to Hindu culture and civilization, but I would want those students also to parallel take the class 10 and class 12 CBSE or ICSE or state board exam, because then nobody has to take their child out of a Vedic institution or a madrasa. They can do both. What I don't understand is why people like Anurag Bhadouria will not want somebody studying in a madrasa to study history, physics, chemistry, biology, computer science and English under a CBSE board. वो मदरसे की चीज भी पढ़े. मैं बहुत लोगों को जानता हूं अनुराग जी, जो बच्चों को मदरसे से निकाल देते हैं क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं वो अंग्रेजी सीखे, कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम में पार्ट ले, और मदरसे में कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम के लिए प्रेपरेशन नहीं हो सकती है. और आप किसी 20 साल के युवा को नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि ठीक है अभी आप क्लास 10 की पढ़ाई शुरू कीजिए. तो आप इम्प्रैक्टिकल बातें कहने, और इससे नुकसान होता है बच्चों का. कल कोई मदरसे में पढ़ते हुए बच्चे नीट की एग्जाम, आईआईटी की एग्जाम देना चाहेंगे, आप रोकना क्यों चाहते हैं उनको?
अरे हल्ला क्यों?
आप रोकना क्यों चाहते हैं उनको? आप कौन होते हैं उनको रोकने के लिए? अपनी राजनीति अपनी जगह.
जिसको अरे आप कौन होते हो हल्ला मचाने वाले? बेवजह हल्ला मचा रहे हैं.
मीडिया पूछ रहे हैं.
कोई किसी को नहीं रोकता है. जिसको आईआईटी की तैयारी करनी है वो उसके हिसाब से तैयारी करता है.
कैसे करेंगे जहाँ पे आप मौका नहीं देते मदरसे में कि कोई कंप्यूटर साइंस, फिजिक्स, हिस्ट्री, केमिस्ट्री, बायोलॉजी, नीट की परीक्षा, आईआईटी ज्वाइंट एंट्रेंस की परीक्षा आपको लगता है ये बहुत आसान है?
दूसरे स्कूलों में
आप आसान लगता है आपको?
कमाल की बात कर रहे हैं
आप नहीं चाहते बेस्ट ऑफ बोथ वर्ल्ड्स मिले? आप लोगों को गुमराह कर रहे हैं. आप कितने बच्चों का जीवन खराब कर रहे हैं क्योंकि आप उनको एक सेक्युलर एजुकेशन देने से आप रोक रहे हैं. आपने कहाँ पढ़ाई लिखाई की थी बताइए तो? आपने कहाँ पे पढ़ाई की थी? Where have you studied?
आप हल्ला क्यों मत?
आपने कहाँ पे पढ़ाई की है?
आप हल्ला क्यों मत?
आप जो बोल रहे हैं आपने कहाँ पे पढ़ाई की है?
अरे मेरी बात सुनो. आप
बोलिए ना, क्यों नहीं बोल रहे? छुपा क्यों रहे?
स्कूल में पढ़ा हूँ.
छुपा क्यों रहे?
स्कूल से पढ़ा हूँ, क्या दिक्कत?
छुपा
तो गाँव के स्कूल से पढ़ा हूँ.
कहाँ से?
नहीं मैं क्यों छुपा? मैं तो गाँव के स्कूल से पढ़ा हूँ.
कॉलेज कहाँ से की है?
पढ़ाना क्या होता है?
कॉलेज कहाँ से की है?
नहीं हूँ मैं.
कॉलेज कहाँ से की है?
डंके की चोट में बोलता हूँ.
अरे छोड़िए डंके की चोट में, मैं भी बोल रहा हूँ कि केंद्रीय विद्यालय में पढ़ा है मैंने. आप बोलिए आपने कॉलेज कहाँ से की है?
समझ में नहीं आया.
अरे कोई माइनॉरिटी इंस्टीट्यूशन से की है क्या आपने?
मदरसे में पढ़ेगा. जिसको कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में पढ़ना हो कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में.
कॉलेज कहाँ से की?
सरकारी स्कूल में पढ़ना हो सरकारी.
किस बोर्ड में पढ़ाई लिखाई की आपने? किस बोर्ड में पढ़ाई लिखाई की आपने?
भाई जिसको
क्या जरूरत थी आपको?
पढ़ना होगा दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ेगा. जिसको लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ना होगा लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ेगा. जिसको इलाहाबाद में पढ़ना होगा इलाहाबाद यूनिवर्सिटी.
अरे एडमिशन कैसे मिलेगा उनको? प्रैक्टिकल बात कीजिए.
भाई मेरे समाज में दलित का एडमिशन नहीं मिलती, ओबीसी का एडमिशन नहीं मिलती,
मदरसे की पढ़ाई पढ़ रहा
है, वही मदरसे वाले जो लड़के कॉन्वेंट में पढ़ना चाहते हो कॉन्वेंट में ही पढ़ते हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि मुस्लिम बच्चे कॉन्वेंट में नहीं पढ़ते हैं। किसने आपको बोला है कि माइनॉरिटी के बच्चे कॉन्वेंट में?
रतन शारदा, मूविंग ऑन।
करवाइए जामिया मिलिया में रिजर्वेशन वापस दलितों का। इनका मुंह कैसे खुल जाता है? अलीगढ़ यूनिवर्सिटी they cancelled the reservation of Dalits in Aligarh University. SP doesn't speak about it. He says study anywhere. No, sir, you cannot study in Aligarh University. If you are a Dalit, you cannot study in Jamia Millia if you are a Dalit. And this fellow comes and lectures on secularism, he lectures on casteism, he lectures on madrasa, but he has no answer.
I'm all for madrasa education, provided it's a legal madrasa, and I want students in madrasas to be able to give CBSE, ICSE examination, +2 level, get admission to good colleges, universities, become doctors and computer scientists. But Anurag does not want that. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, the media bias is my next story tonight. And as I said, in my view, in my humble opinion, the 2024 US presidential election, the race is not between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. The reality is, it is a battle between Donald Trump and the media. Let's debate.
I will end inflation. I will stop the massive invasion of criminals into our country.
Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it?
Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. You're fired.
According to various reports, the presidential race coverage between former President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris has been extremely lopsided. An article by a Western media house and its contrasting editorial take is a credible example of the lopsided media coverage. Take a look. The title of an article published on August 12th by a Western media outlet read, "Vance wants to raise the child tax credit to $5,000. Here's why that could be difficult." Now, the same media company, in an article published on August 16th, went ahead with the title, "Harris calls for expanded child tax credit of up to $6,000 for families with newborns." The use of the word difficult is used while talking about Vance, but when Harris proposes the same idea, it automatically and magically stops being difficult. This is the dubious media bias that persists in the 2024 US presidential polls.
Take a look at what happened.
Despite the shocking assassination attempt against former US President Donald Trump, various media platforms went ahead and questioned the legitimacy of the assassination bid itself. Many media channels have run lines like "the case for Kamala Harris" and "the only patriotic choice for president." These lines clearly show how there is a certain media bias at play in furthering Harris's political agenda. While on the other hand, the terminology used for former President Donald Trump is completely contrasting to the words that have been directed towards Harris. A media house described Trump's 2024 poll strategy as "say anything, make up anything." Big questions with regard to the bias of the media, but all eyes are now on the key race to the 270 mark.
There's no need to feel down.
Okay, let's get 2 points of view in. Ashok Bhatt is a former California State Water Commissioner and a Kamala Harris supporter. And Francis Anthony is a business strategist from Baltimore. And we have with us James Marlo, who believes that the media has been biased. I hope that was correct. Can I ask you, James, what your take is on the way the media has conducted itself in this election?
Well, absolutely. I mean, I believe that there's 248 countries around the world. There's 193 who are registered with the United Nations. And I believe that almost, if not all of those countries, of course, have media bias. And that's pretty much accepted these days. But I think it's fair to say whether it's a news network, let's take America, for example, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, I think it's right for them to say that they do head towards the political left. And there's nothing wrong with that if you actually say it, because I know that the two right-wing networks, Fox and the more more right, Newsmax, openly say that they are right-wing, but of course they allow all opinions on. They actually cover all opinions, and that's the main thing. First, be honest to say where you are politically, and then afterwards get everyone on and debate about it.
So this time the bias has been very extreme. Why has it become personal, Francis? It's almost as if they are vested interest in this. And they are not even bothered about whether they need to be seen as neutral. In previous elections, the media was pretending to be neutral, all these media groups. This time they have given up that pretense and they have gone all out. Why is that, Francis?
I just want to give a few counterpoints to what was just said. For example, the Washington Post just did not endorse Kamala Harris. Bezos had a role to play in that, and that was prominent. It was discussed a lot. LA Times is another newspaper, another prominent newspaper that refused to endorse Kamala Harris. There was also a K-file investigation from CNN as of yesterday into the way the Kamala Harris campaign runs different ads in Michigan and in Pennsylvania, depending on who they're targeting. That is Muslim voters versus Jewish voters. Again, to be clear, this was CNN. And then there was also the CNN town hall with Anderson Cooper, I want to say 10 days ago, a couple of weeks ago, where there were some really difficult follow-up questions, putting her in a difficult spot, forcing her to explain her flip-flops and her contradicting positions about the Mexico wall. So I'm sure it seems that way. Perhaps there is a grain of truth to some of these allegations, but that's not to say it is. And
but
just
that's
know
an
that,
odd question, Francis. That's a standard tactic. One odd question to try and balance it out. You know, the one story out of 100 that would be seen to be slightly critical of Kamala Harris, then get that overplayed to say that we are balanced. They're not balanced. My question was, how is it? Isn't it very shocking, Ashok, maybe you can take that it has become the norm for a media house to endorse Kamala Harris, like all media have become groupies. Why has the media become a Kamala Harris groupie? What is their skin in this? Like, what is their agenda in this?
It is not true that the media is totally on the side of the Kamala Harris. Traditional, like LA Times or the Washington Post and certain other newspaper or other media houses were the Democratic side endorsing always, which were not endorsed at this time due to the Trump and his allies that they tried to be push them, threaten, and they didn't endorse to her. So that is not the point. Kamala Harris is a grassroots person. She is a very, very deep grassroots person who is always connected with the voters, connected with the organizations, connected with the unions. She is a very, very humble and then very strong-minded woman who never lost a single election.
No, that's not my point. No, Ashok, see, let's be realistic about this. It's predominantly controversies around Trump. But when it comes to plagiarism by Kamala Harris, her lack of obvious intelligence, her incomprehensible ability to frame sentences that do not look like they are being read off an auto cue, allegations against her husband, all of these things are downplayed. I mean, it's becoming, there's sort of fascist temperament this time in the media. If you are not with Kamala Harris, then we will leave you out. You know, it's happening. And all across the world, I think the belief is it's Trump versus the media. Kamala Harris is generally seen to be an unintelligent person who is being propped up there and says whatever is written in her script. When she does not have a script, she can't even speak properly. There is a genuine issue. So, you know, why so much bias? Peter, I can understand a little bit of a tilt, but this is not a tilt anymore in the US. What will they do if Trump wins?
I think the reason why the media seems to be one-sided in the way you're suggesting is that people recognize that Trump is not
JD.
a traditional candidate.
She's not a uneducated person or the bias or the certain type of a person. She is a very dedicated, strong, focused, and very ground to earth worker. She never lost a single election. 2 times district attorney, 2 times attorney general, 1 time senator, and 1 time vice president. Never had lost an election due to her intellectual values and her personality, not because of any personal favors or anything else. She is a people person. She is a very connected with all the unions and the low income people, middle class people.
This reminds me a little bit about the Brexit situation in the UK. You know, where anybody who was for exit was deemed to be evil. The media almost gave the victory to the other side and couldn't reconcile to the fact that many people wanted to get out of Europe. I think the media is not, if I were to go by the media, the simple question would be, why is this race too close to call? You have the entire media with you, and still the race is too close to call. Is the media not reading something that is visible to everybody on the ground? Or are they too detached, too elitist? Peter, what's your take?
Well, first of all, Arnab, when you're talking about the media, you're talking about CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, New York Times, and Washington Post. That is not where most Americans get their information from, for better or for worse now. So with a younger generation, my students, they don't watch that. They don't listen to that. They're getting their information from other places. And those other places, whether it's Twitter, X, or other social media outlets, can be very, very biased. They're based on these algorithms that reinforce what people already think. But the thing we have got to keep in mind is the media's reaction is partly based on what Trump has said and done before. Trump has not only been twice impeached, a convicted criminal, somebody who tried to overthrow the election in 2020, somebody who still lies about the outcome and doesn't accept the results, and that he's appealed to the worst tendencies in American life: misogyny, racism, hatred of immigrants, fear. I mean, there's a reason why the media reacts this way. Now, the question you're asking is the interesting one. Why hasn't the public responded in the same way? And that's scary to me. The fact that half the public appears to still be supporting a man who is not only is just running a campaign of hatred and negativity.
No, these words of hatred are very general. Peter, see, there is obviously a constituency in America which buys the argument for stronger borders. Now, you can call that hatred, or you can look at that as a pro-internal security campaign. There are two ways of looking at it. That it's an argument.
Arnab, can I explain?
Yeah, sure, please.
So it's not that everybody is concerned about unfettered immigration of that sort. What Trump has done is he's said that these immigrants are criminals who are killing and raping people. When we know that
what Trump has done, okay, so here's my counter. What Trump has done is carry out a very clever campaign in which he takes examples of terrible crimes committed against Americans, including 12-year-old children, by illegal immigrants. And he says that this is a classic example of someone who, due to Kamala Harris and Biden's policies, was taken out of prison. And this is what the person did: killed a child a few weeks after leaving prison. Obviously, if there was no fact in what he said, then why is that fact? Why are these stories gaining currency among the people?
That's a good question. So when he says, for example, that Haitians in Ohio are eating people's pets, that story has been refuted over and over again. He's been told that by his own advisors, and he repeats it anyway. This man
No. The fact is, as far as the cat story is concerned, it is a story that this media chooses to emphasize on. because you want to pick up this cat-eating story and make it part of the New York Times narrative. Why wouldn't you look at more substantial issues that are being raised here? You see, I'll give you one example, Peter. The Associated Press, when there was the assassination attempt on Trump, refused. Francis, they refused initially to even accept it was an assassination attempt. They said there were some loud noises. Now, how can a media house not know the difference between an assassination attempt and loud noises? You know, this is an obvious and implicit bias, yeah? There's no point denying it. I mean, you can say, we don't like him, we are going to go against him. But to claim that there is any neutrality is...
no, I never claimed there's any neutrality.
Francis, say that
the media is always
unlike
very biased.
I'm not a fanboy of Kamala Harris. I don't think she's some kind of a messiah. I don't think she's any kind of an intellectual giant. She's not. But that aside, I think if we are just talking about the fairness of media coverage, I do want to address something that Peter just mentioned about immigration. And I think this is a little disingenuous. I've seen other people do this. Trump does not target immigrants, but illegal immigrants. And I think that's an important distinction. By conflating the two, you lend color and credence to this notion that Trump is basically against all immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself, but I'm a legal immigrant. And I think if you go back to his rhetoric, consistently, he has talked about illegal immigrants and the harm that they do to American economy. And I think we can all agree on that. The fact that there are 20 million people here who should not be here, and they have not, that issue hasn't been adequately covered. But that said, like I said, everybody was anticipating an October surprise. Looks like we had a November surprise yesterday because the CNN's K-file investigation just dumped this report about the way the Kamala Harris campaign has been devious in the way it targets Jewish voters in Pennsylvania versus Muslim voters in Michigan. And I think you could argue that would benefit Trump a day before Election Day. So I just want to put that out there that, yes, it can seem like it's unfair, but I think there's plenty of evidence to the contrary as well.
No, I'm just thinking here that my own sense is that when the media takes such a strong position, you might end up with counter polarization. And I think this time they have gone a little bit too far. I mean, you look at this AP report. In his third presidential bid, Trump is facing an opponent who stages her own massive rallies, calling further attention that his crowds, however enthusiastic, have failed to fill large venues and often thinned out as he spoke. This is not an agency copy. This is pure opinion. And what we are seeing in the coverage of Trump is pure opinion. And it is a fact here, James, that when there is so much opinion that is thrown about, it often leads to counter opinion. So I do believe that these media groups could be doing Kamala Harris a disservice. Because
it is opinion, it is not news, as you say, and that's the difference between the news networks today and the news networks that we had around 30, 40 years ago. I've been working in news desks on television networks, radio networks, and one or two newspapers as well, and you see people on those desks, they could be the editor, they could be individual journalists, that certainly have a certain bias towards a certain political party, or perhaps a politician, a prime minister, a president, or even a country like Israel, like the United States, like Europe. So this is well known. If I can just pick up on a couple of things that have been said earlier, I mean, a lot of media does criticize Donald Trump, and sometimes he fluffs his words and he says very stupid things, and it's right to criticize them. I think some of the networks do it more to Donald Trump than they do it towards Kamala Harris. So let me just quote something that she said just a couple of days ago. I think it was in one of her rallies in Georgia, 2 or 3 days ago, possibly 4, because I lip in and nip out sometimes to hear what the politicians are actually saying. So this is Kamala Harris's words, and I'm quoting right now: Donald Trump wants to ban abortion across the United States. Not true. Donald Trump wishes to go ahead and limit contraception. Not true. Donald Trump, in the same sentence, by the way, Donald Trump wishes to monitor every woman who's pregnant. Not true. Now, I'm just wondering how many people actually picked that up on the news networks. She said that. It was a live feed. It wasn't artificial. True. But again, you've got some networks who will focus on fluffs that Donald Trump makes. And as I said, he makes a lot of them. but they're not doing the same for Kamala Harris, and I think you should be equal. The other thing as well is that I'm in London at the moment. I'm in the UK,
yes,
and I can tell you, we just had a general election, and there are some very powerful, good, well-known journalists who really, really go for those candidates and those prime minister candidates looking to become the prime minister. They quiz them on every single thing. We don't see that in the United States. For example, Kamala Harris. I was just going to add, just to finish the sentence, Kamala Harris hears quite a lot that people are struggling with their grocery bills, that they're struggling to put petrol, gasoline into their cars. All she says is, we hear, and then she makes a whole salad worth of words, which doesn't seem to make any sense. There should be somebody pushing. Fine. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Now, it's fine if she hasn't got a clue. Maybe politicians don't have a clue. They need to get into office and see what the advisors tell them. That's fine. But at least push them a little bit. And right now, this is not about voting for Donald Trump or voting for Kamala Harris. It's about keeping the other person out, the one that you fear the most.
Yeah, that is true. And one thought I have, just to wrap this up, maybe, what if it's very close to call? I think because of the way the American election results come out with channels, announcing, networks announcing, calling the election and all that, and then the official announcement coming 2 or 3 months later, it's a recipe for chaos, Peter. Because what if it's very close to call? What if Trump has an edge? Then who will delegitimize the election? Will all these media groups accept the election? I think they are so vested in it that should Trump have a lead, they will go all out to delegitimize him. And that's a danger to democracy. In the process of countering a candidate, you will be fighting the democratic process. I think that's a real worry as far as, we're looking at it. What do you think, Peter?
At the ground, level, if you see, then Kamala Harris is the leading. Trump has no merit. His words are not true.
Okay, Ashok say Trump is a bad man, he's terrible, he wears the wrong clothes, he walks the wrong way, he eats the wrong food. But my question to Peter was that what if he wins? What will all of these media groups do? I think they're going to go all out to call the election for Kamala Harris.
Arnab, well, we have a track record on this. If you look at what happened in 2016 and 2020, there was some grumbling in 2016 because Hillary Clinton was so far up in the polls, but they accepted it, and she accepted the results. In 2020, we saw the opposite happen. We saw Donald Trump deny the results of the election, even though his advisors told him he had lost. He went out there and lied about it, and then did everything he could, first in the courts, which is legitimate, but 60 courts, including the ones with judges who he appointed, said that his cases had no merit at all, and they threw them out. And still, Trump lied and tried to overturn the results of the election. That case is still being prosecuted in federal courts, that if he loses this election, he could end up in jail. That's part of why he's so desperate to win. But the Democrats haven't done that. That's not been their history. Even in 2000, when Al Gore won the popular vote and the Supreme Court overturned the results of the election or staged what I consider a coup, Gore went along with it. The Democrats have not reacted in the same way the Republicans have in that regard.
No, of course. I agree with you on the Al Gore thing, very quickly. I agree with that. You're absolutely right. But I think things are different today, very much so. And I don't think either side is going to concede. I don't think Kamala Harris is going to concede because it's going to be so close, unless it's obvious, unless somebody really zooms past that 270. But I think the courts will decide in January. The courts will decide, and then everyone has to abide by that decision.
Well, then it's going to be...
Democrats are very civilized. If you see the Al Gore timing, if you see the Hillary Clinton timing,
as a counterpoint
they
to
accepted
the mainstream
right
media.
decisions. So, if the Trump is uncivilized, Republicans are uncivilized completely, and then they had created the issues in 2020, and they will do the same thing in 2024. if the elections are going other side. And it look like that the Kamala Harris is going to get 273 electoral, between 273 to 276. Is the ground results are very clear at the moment. The surging is very strong on the Democrat side. Is the Pennsylvania is getting by the Democrats now look like in a way that the things are going on. Nevada is going towards to the Democrats. Now the Michigan and the...
No, I think you're calling the election too early, Ashok. Let's just wait. Let's just wait. All I'd say is people are so desperate. I don't think anyone's going to concede. And that's my worry for the American democracy and certainly for the American media. I believe, okay, there can be bias. We also take a stand sometimes. Republic also has its own point of view on political issues. But this extent of prejudice and desperation, I think the media got too thick into the battle that is owned by someone else. They become parties. And that is going to be a dark chapter in the history of American media. Ladies and gentlemen, on the other side tonight, why Wikipedia is nothing but a whole lot of packaged falsehood in a few minutes.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them manly men. All I want is a touch of love.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
But we don't have to settle for weakness and incompetence and decline and decay. That's a nice word, decay. That's what's happening. That's a nice word, decay. Can you imagine? And nobody will question it because it's true. With your vote tomorrow, we can fix every single problem our country faces and lead America and lead the world to new heights of glory. But indeed, think of that statement, how beautiful that is. New heights of glory, that's what's going to happen when we...
एक आलमगीर आलम थे औरंगजेब, देश को लूटा था उसने। और दूसरा झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा का भी तो एक मंत्री था आलमगीर, उसके घरों में कैसे नोट की गड्डियां उसके नौकरों और उसके परिवार के अन्य लोगों के घरों में किस रूप में पड़ी हुई थी।
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Director, the taste of success.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
extremists have attacked Hindu Canadian devotees at the Hindu Sabha temple in Brampton, Canada. There is anger among the Hindu community everywhere, and in Canada there is a growing realization about the way in which the Khalistanis are targeting the Hindu community. When we speak about Hindu phobia, we are often told we are right-wingers, Republic is a right-wing network. To all those people who call us right-wing for simply speaking up for Hindus, I just want to ask them, do you become a better Hindu if you are quiet when your temples are attacked? I think not. My counter question to all of these people is, do they expect Republic to speak against Hindus when there are targeted attacks against the Hindu community? Hindus are facing threats across the globe, way in which Hindus are being targeted in North America. And it's an unfortunate reality that even in India, Hindus are being targeted here as well. But more importantly than all of this, the good thing is that Hindus are now consolidating. Republic will stand by the Hindu community each time there is a targeting of the Hindu community in India or anywhere globally. Hindus must together raise the voice.
From the Republic Media Network headquarters, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate. Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, and now time for the nation's sharpest opinion. The Wikipedia scandal. Some call it the Wikipedia scam. That's India's top talking point now. Wikipedia is not neutral at all. Its business model is built on a lie that it is neutral, a lie that it is factual, a lie that it can be trusted. It can never be trusted. Never trust Wikipedia, ladies and gentlemen, because what is Wikipedia? Wikipedia is a very closely guarded, extreme, radical left setup whose editorial control is in the hands of a few hundred so-called editors or administrators who have this radical left ideology, and what they do is work day and night to push their own agenda. Wikipedia lies about being a free online encyclopedia that anyone can edit, unquote. This alone is the greatest falsehood. The structure of Wikipedia gives unparalleled, almost fascist power to 430, 40, 50 odd so-called administrators. Who are these administrators? They're very self-important, super empowered individuals chosen by Wikipedia who have complete control. They can do whatever they want. They can ban editors, they can blacklist sources, they decide what is right, not right, what can be quoted, what can't be quoted. They decide the edits that can be made. Wikipedia should be sued, and it's being sued everywhere now for lying that it has a neutral point of view, when the fact is that people it chooses at will largely depend on left-wing sources and lay emphasis on radical left sources, ending up peddling fake news as a matter of routine. There's so much fake news. There is so much fake news being put out by Wikipedia. It is such a dangerous operation. The most dangerous thing, in fact, is that so far so many people, maybe even you, had assumed Wikipedia to be a source of information, to be a source of fact. Now that's a lie. Wikipedia can never be trusted. Its own co-founder has admitted and gone on record that Wikipedia today is heavily left-biased, radical left-biased, ideologically corrupted. So never trust Wikipedia. The greatest example of the Wikipedia lie is what they put out on Republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Wikipedia knows that the Republic Media Network is the only completely journalist-owned network in India, making us the largest, or at least one of the largest, journalist-owned news networks of this scale in the entire world. Wikipedia has enough information to cite to say so, but what does it do? It lies about Republic. It heavily reports on all the false cases against Republic. But when the cases are quashed, when the cases are proven wrong, Wikipedia does not mention that or continues to underplay the truth. What does this mean? This means that Wikipedia has an agenda against Republic. Wikipedia cannot get away saying, oh, it's a question of emphasis. We are emphasizing the lies about you and underplaying the truth. My question is, why are you emphasizing the lies? Why are you underplaying the truth about Republic, about the Republic Media Network? They cannot disguise their opinion as fact and dilute omission of fact at will. And so I have a very important announcement to make. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republic Media Network, India's largest independently owned, very popular news network, is going to initiate serious legal action against Wikipedia as well. They've gone on too far. They have deliberately tried to attack us and defame us, and we have enough reason to believe that they are working on a malicious agenda. We are exploring options. We'll serve them notice and, if necessary, sue them, either in a separate case or joining issue in the existing case. We need your support in this, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very important fight, a fight that we will win. Let's debate.
The centre today issued a formal notice to Wikipedia. This comes after numerous complaints surrounding perceived bias and inaccuracies in terms of portrayal which are found on the platform. The notice highlights apprehensions about a small group of editors wielding significant influence over Wikipedia's content. The centre has raised serious questions on the fact that editorial control lies with just limited number of contributors, suggesting this could lead to skewed narratives on sensitive topics. Speaking exclusively to Republic, Union Minister Giriraj Singh has come down heavily upon Wikipedia.
विकिपीडिया भारत में अफवाह फैलाती है, भ्रम फैलाती है। विकिपीडिया को राजस्थान में कन्हैया दर्जी की हत्या पर नहीं उसको नजर जाएगा, मदनी जैसे मौलाना के शब्दों पर नहीं वो जाएंगे। वक्फ बोर्ड के लिए जो देश में आतंक मचाया जा रहा है उस पर नहीं जाएगा। ये विकिपीडिया भारत के अंदर अफवाह फैलाना, मतभेद पैदा करना, यही उसका काम।
Wikipedia's bias indeed knows no bounds. It describes terror outfits like Hezbollah as a political force. Since when are terror outfits being mistaken as political forces? Wikipedia's anti-India narrative remains difficult to be brushed under the carpet. While talking about democracy under Narendra Modi, it reads that India is experiencing democratic backsliding. Furthermore, it says that democratic institutions and freedom of expression are apparently under threat in India. It also went ahead and labelled Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a controversial figure. Not only that, in the section where it talks about the Ram Janmabhoomi, it has raised serious questions on the legitimacy of the Hindu claims. It says that historical evidence to support the fact that this was indeed the birthplace of Lord Ram remains scarce. Wikipedia accuses Trump of resorting to authoritarian rhetoric and using dehumanizing language against his political enemies. These are just few examples from the long list of biased takes that Wikipedia propels on a daily basis. As the centre's notice sparks a fierce debate, the big question is, has the open to all Wikipedia become safe for none?
And ladies and gentlemen, I want to start with Nupur Sharma. We all know her. She is the editor-in-chief of Op India. Welcome Savio Rodriguez, Sandeep Ghosh, well-known commentators, Vivek Srivastava, America Narayanan and Pulla Rao. Now, why I want to start with you is because you've done extensive work. You put out a whole publication on this. You've got very detailed cases out there. So very simply, what is the real truth about Wikipedia? What is this operation all about, which says that it has an endless source of information on people? Anyone wants to find out about you, Nupur, they're going to look at Wikipedia. What will they find? What will they find about Savio? What will they find about Republic? What will they find about Op India? Or for that matter, about a host of other personalities, institutions and people. What is the truth about Wikipedia?
Hi Arnab, thank you. And it's very important to realize that Wikipedia claims that it's a free to edit, free for all sort of an encyclopedia that basically depends on wisdom of the crowds, which essentially means that if, thousands and thousands of people from across the world are coming together and discussing a subject, the resultant information, since it's building consensus amongst all the thousands and thousands of editors, it ought to be accurate. However, that is not the case as far as Wikipedia is concerned. This is just a facade, it's just a veneer that Wikipedia uses. Now, Wikipedia, as you mentioned, and we've mentioned in our dossier, it has about 435 active administrators, and it's got some editors who are essentially controlling all the information on Wikipedia. So they have the right, they have the power to ban pages, create pages, ban editors, ban IP addresses, revert edits, and so on and so forth. And these editors and administrators, a lot of them are actually directly paid by Wikipedia and Wikimedia Foundation. So Wikimedia Foundation every year, it's going to ask people in India as well, please pay us 25 rupees, 50 rupees, 75 rupees to keep Wikipedia alive. But the truth is that Wikimedia Foundation for Wikipedia has millions and millions of dollars. So the Wikimedia Endowment Fund. From whom? From a lot of entities like Google, Amazon, George Soros, Rothschild Foundation. In fact, 1 year, even Musk Foundation donated to Wikimedia Foundation. So when they floated their Wikimedia Endowment Fund, their aim was to collect $100 million in 5 years. One of the first donations to that Wikimedia Endowment Fund was made by George Soros. This is Wikimedia's own press release. That aim of collecting. So they have. Are you saying they have admitted they are funded by Soros? Are you saying directly or indirectly Wikipedia is a Soros-funded outfit? If you go on the Wikimedia Foundation page for donations, and if you look at their list of patrons, and if you look at their list of donors, George Soros's Open Society, Amazon, Rothschild Foundation, and all of these foundations are very, very clearly and openly listed. So this is not, something clandestine that I seem to have stumbled upon. It's public information. There are press releases to that effect. So they reached the goal of 100 million for the Wikimedia Endowment Fund in 2 years. And they continued their fundraising and raised millions and millions of dollars more. Research proves that Wikimedia Foundation has enough money to last for the next 75 years with the money they have today, even if they don't get even one single rupee or one single dollar. So what is this they do about give us 10 rupees, give us 10 rupees? What's this give us 10 rupees thing about? So what they do is, between 35 and 40% of the millions and millions they collect goes to something called the Editor Retention Fund. So they pay the administrators and editors directly in the form of grants or to further their business interest. Millions and millions of dollars. And these editors and administrators are very, very carefully handpicked. So this makes them classic publishers. Arnab, when you were working in another publication, when you were the editor-in-chief, You were paid by the publication and therefore you were the editor.
So it's not an aggregator. Then the government is right. This is not an aggregator. It is a publisher. But then they have to take editorial responsibility for what they put out. Do they do that?
No, they don't. And Wikimedia Foundation and Wikipedia very, very clearly state that we depend on wisdom of the crowds. This is a free-to-edit encyclopedia, and therefore we are an intermediary and we have no responsibility towards the content that you find on Wikipedia. But again, that is not true.
So the truth is, it is not editable. Can anybody watching this program go and edit material on Wikipedia?
They can try, but if the administrators and senior editors do not agree with the edit, they are going to revert it in a second.
And how many of these administrators are there in India?
Hard to tell, but there are 435 administrators across the world, and only 10 members in the arbitration committee.
Do you know who these are in India? Any figures here? Do you know of any people?
I can give you some examples. For example, there's an administrator called Newslinger, and Newslinger is the individual who has managed to distort your page and Republic's page as well. And he's managed to blacklist Republic, Op India, Times of India, and all of these sources as well. He was directly paid thousands and thousands of dollars in the form of a grant by Wikimedia Foundation. Again, this is
we were trying, for example, this is ridiculous. I mean, this is so alarming. We, for example, have been trying to put out the reality that Republic is a completely journalist-owned operation. In fact, it is the largest of its kind. We've never had any shareholder in Republic who owns more than 15% equity shares. That shareholder has been bought out at several times the value. Presently does not hold more than 1% shares in Republic. But then every time we try to put the truth out, we get blocked. Yeah. We tried to get some professionals to put the truth out. We were told, oh my God, you have no chance of any truth about Republic going on Wikipedia. So what should we do? Should we just go to court? Will that help?
Yeah. I'll tell you why you will never be able to put correct information about Republic. There are two reasons. One is that Wikipedia essentially bans any direct source. So I'll give you another example very quickly. The Wire had actually published fake news about the court of an air marshal or a Navy officer. And the Navy officer went on Twitter and said that the Wire has misquoted me. Now, when somebody tried to insert that information on the page of the Wire, saying that this is the fake news that they've spread, and the Navy officer himself has said that he was misquoted and this is fake news, the editors and administrators, Newslinger being one of them, said that direct sources we cannot accept. So if the army, the Navy personnel himself is saying that he was misquoted, it's a direct source and therefore it cannot be cited. Two, they said that, okay, Op India has covered that story, so maybe you can refer to Op India. But Op India cannot be cited because Op India has been blacklisted by Newslinger and all the other administrators and editors. So therefore, any publication that is blacklisted by Wikipedia cannot be cited, and therefore on the on the Wire page, that fake news will not be added. As far as Republic is concerned, Republic is blacklisted. So if you have
why is Republic blacklisted? Who are they to blacklist Republic?
They are, the Lord and Mighty of Google, of Wikipedia.
But people don't know this. Money. I mean, viewers, are you hearing this? This is such a shadowy, such a dangerous operation, ladies and gentlemen.
Arnab.
Yes, please.
Let me just get to it in 30 seconds. So Newslinger, he's an administrator, by the way, one of the 435 administrators from across the world. He's an Indian. I know his identity, but I don't really want to go into doxing, so I'm not going to give out his identity. But he is an Indian. He has been paid thousands and thousands of dollars by Wikimedia Foundation. Guess to do what? So their list of deprecated sources, blacklisted sources, which has all the right-wing sources from America, like Fox, Breitbart, and so on and so forth. It has Op India, Swarajya, Republic, Times of India, even though Times of India is not right-wing, but whatever. Wikimedia Foundation has paid Newslinger thousands and thousands of dollars to templatize the blacklist sources list. So what they're going to do is, come up with an app. So in the app, you'll be able to type say Republic, and then they'll say that, oh, it's a blacklist source, it's a fake news website, so on and so forth, don't trust it. That's one. Two, they've given him thousands of dollars to develop a web extension, a browser extension. So if somebody goes on the internet and goes on the Republic website, for example, republicworld.com or whatever, there's going to be a pop-up because of that extension which draws information from Wikipedia, and the pop-up is going to read that according to Wikipedia, this is a blacklisted source and it's a source of fake news, therefore do not trust anything you read on Republic or do not trust anything you read on Op India. Wikipedia has officially given thousands of dollars to Newslinger to develop this web browser extension and to develop this app. Now, there are other administrators like Kautilya 3 who have currently been booked in Manipur. There's an FIR against this Wikimedia editor, Kautilya 3, in Manipur because he has gone across Wikipedia and altered all the history of Manipur and all the facts of the conflict in Manipur and essentially turned it into
just 1 minute. Viewers, I think this is many people calling in right now. Let's open up to calls, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to invite your attention. Someone told me that this Wikipedia page on Republic says Republic is accused of ratings manipulation. Ladies and gentlemen, nowhere does Wikipedia mention that the case has been quashed, that my arrest was declared to be illegal by the Supreme Court. There is no mention of the clean sheet we've got. There's no mention. No, 1 minute. I'm just looking at this now, and I'm saying what liars these people are. And they call a lie an emphasis on disinformation and an underemphasis on information, which means the whole damn thing is a slant. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to look at this with great concern. I am examining this matter with India's topmost lawyers. We will initiate legal action because they have no right to do this and they have been getting away with it for far too long. If you believe that it's time to expose Wikipedia for the pamphlet it is, for the danger it presents, and this convenient veil of anonymous volunteers, they try to make it look like a Halloween party to which everyone's invited. Can Nupur be a Wikipedian? Can she be an anonymous volunteer? Can she be an administrator? I mean, rubbish, Vivek. We've had enough of this. We've had enough of this.
15-second interjection, Arnab.
It's the erosion of truth. It is a misinformation campaign on a global scale. And it is trying to make the truth malleable. And unless we truly take them on, this nonsense and misrepresentation of fact, this advocacy of half-truths, which is a form of manipulation, because one that neither respects the sacredness of knowledge, nor the responsibility that comes with the dissemination of information. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not verifiable accuracy. You know, it is like Al Jazeera's claim that Arundhati Roy is a acclaimed author who speaks for the country. She does not. No, 1 minute. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, should I open the debate? I'm opening to calls. This is going to be a crazy debate, ladies and gentlemen. What should be the next step here, Savio? What should be done with Wikipedia?
What is this OPA?
Well, let's be totally honest about one fact, which Larry Sanger himself spoke about, that Wikipedia is primarily controlled by left liberal entities. And he even went on, when he spoke to media a couple of years ago, he spoke about the fact that CIA, FBI, and other US intelligence agencies were monitoring Wikipedia. And he even goes on to say, way back in 2008, CIA and FBI computers were actually editing information on Wikipedia. Now, this is Larry Sanger, the co-founder of Wikipedia, and that is what he's gone ahead and said.
No.
Now, if you've got an entity that is controlled by the CIA and the US intelligence and the FBI, that is going to be tailored to benefit the American deep state. That is
okay, let's get Vivek a chance because he won't let others speak otherwise. You see, Vivek, before you come in, let me tell you why I'm doing this. Because Of course, people know Republic is. I haven't got a personal agenda in this. I couldn't care less about Wikipedia, but falsehood must be fought. The point here is in today's AI world, today's ChatGPT world, what happens is, and that's the point of greater concern, Sandeep, is that a bot will take the information from Wikipedia as aggregated, verifiable information and pass that on. So Wikipedia plays a role in global misinformation because it says I go by verifiable sources and I like Al Jazeera, I don't like Republic, please be quiet, and hence I will put out a large amount of information from Al Jazeera as fact, but a large amount of information from the Republic network is untrue. That information from Wikipedia will be picked up by AI, ChatGPT and passed on as truth. And that is where no. We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip this in the bud right now, and that's exactly what we're going to do.
ChatGPT is going to pick up information from your website also, from your channel also, from OP India also, and from the entire cabal of Wikipedia. So, I mean, don't say that AI and GPT.
It's not OP India, Z. It's not OP India, Vivek Jinping.
I call it OP India. I don't call it
Vivek Jinping. It's not OP India. Yeah, it's not.
Very intellectually stimulating arguments.
Ladies and gentlemen, I appeal to you, do not ever get swayed by Wikipedia. In fact, I taught them a lesson in 2011. They called me for a conference. They regret they ever called me. You can pull out the video. And I said there is nothing called neutrality. I said this in a Wikipedia conference. That was the last time they ever called me. But the fact is, these truths have to be exposed. Sandeep, what are the dangers of this kind of misinformation? What's your take on Wikipedia?
See, Arnab, it is not just political misinformation. This manipulation can go even into the commercial world, in business and everywhere else if they are so compromised. The fact is, this has been done very cleverly, and I think the gullible audience across the world believed that this was a very altruistic platform. And as it's being exposed one after the other, these pillars are falling. This now Facebook or Meta has been exposed. Earlier, the old Twitter was exposed. And it's also about time Wikipedia will also get exposed, both abroad as well as in India. But I think what is important is what the government has done now. This was long overdue. Forget, Arnab, what you are saying, Republic. I know of so many people of very, very reputable credentials, professionals, who can't get their page up on Wikipedia. Because people, as you said, this filter, and there are people, I know many people among my friends and colleagues who have got excellent professional track record, but they may be having some slant or the other somewhere. And when they try to put it up, or even at there, you mentioned, even professionals try to put it up, they get blocked. And it gets changed. So I don't know whether our friend, even Dominic, has got a page for himself on Wikipedia. I wouldn't be surprised if his page is either distorted or it has been pulled down. So I think, this is the reality. This is how the left ecosystem has really spread its tentacles around the world. It'll take a while to dismantle, but till then, we will have to have certain corrective action, like what I think if the government has indeed done, and people like you who have the ability to take them onto court.
We will. I wish to give a couple of callers in.
ANI has done that.
ANI has done that. Republic will. We will do even more strongly. Bhargavi wants to say something. She's calling from Mumbai. Bhargavi?
Yes, sir. So, good evening, Arnab, sir. So, firstly, I would like to appreciate the debate topic which was taken, because we are young students, right? And we rely on internet for information. And earlier, Wikipedia was one source of information for many of us. But now when we are seeing all the stuff happening, especially when it comes to your channel, now you took an example of how Wikipedia did upload accurate information about your case being closed against you. Now, let's consider this information is spread across the society.
Yeah.
How dangerous? It's dangerous.
No,
for
it's
everyone.
dangerous at a mass level, Bhargavi. Santana Gopal Krishna is calling from Bengaluru.
Hi, Arnab. How are you?
I'm very well. Hi, how are you, Santana?
I'm fine. Arnab, you should set a precedent in this media world by taking strongly this case to the maximum level and trying to reach to logical conclusion.
I will.
The message what they pump in their platform, it's picked up by even anti-nationals also.
That's absolutely
And unfortunately, yes, and unfortunately, the opposition parties here harp more on such matters. And considerable tarnish of our country's image is happening. Okay? All these gentlemen sitting on your left side, onto my right side of the screen, they all are, hard pressing on the same thing. They want to malign India.
No. Modi is not India.
Huh?
Modi is not India, and you are trying to, scuttle the
No,
freedom of expression
I'm not
of Wikipedia.
I'm talking about all the pro-CPI, pro-Song, pro-DNK.
You're a politician. You let the people speak instead of interrupting and heckling and arguing with somebody who's
Vivek, would you be polite with my viewers, please?
You're a politician supporter or whatever. At least be polite with the people who are voicing their opinions instead of talking incessantly like a crazy person.
No, you see, Nopur, the fact is, I'll tell you what. Just one point. See, misinformation. Santana, thank you for calling. Misinformation examples now on Ram Janmabhoomi. Wikipedia states that the site of the Ram Janmabhoomi is, quote, often believed to be at the place where the Babri Masjid stood, unquote, and that, and I quote, historical evidence to support this belief is scarce.
Arnab, let me give you a
and the Supreme Court went with all the historical evidence, but Wikipedia says it's scarce. I call that a lie.
A shocking example. Let me give you a far more shocking example.
Okay, Nupur gives a shocking example. Yes.
On the page on where the terrorist attack by a Islamist mob where Hindus were burnt alive, Sabarmati Express, they say that there is no evidence and there are doubts that a mob actually set fire to the train, which led to the murder of 52 Hindus, including women and children. Now, an editor went on the talk page of that Wikipedia page and said that, listen, the court has actually convicted over 30 Muslim perpetrators, and it has been proved. My God, just please keep quiet.
Come on, Vivek. Vivek, stop heckling, man. Can we have someone else on the right? The man is a professional heckler. There should be a Wikipedia page on him as an out-of-control heckler. He's got to stop. He's got to stop. No, he won't stop, so I'm taking him off air. I'm not very democratic anymore. Yeah, please, thank you.
Calm down.
You're off air. Yeah.
And the administrators who were managing that page said that the judiciary, the Supreme Court judgment, is not a reliable source, and had publications like The Wire, Al Jazeera, or academicians like Teesta Setalvad, who is accused of fraud and is being investigated, Rana, Washington Post, New York Times, etc., if they had ratified that conclusion, that it was in fact a Muslim mob that set fire to the train, leading to the massacre of 52 devotees, including women and babies, then they would have added it to the page. But that information is not there because they deem the Supreme Court of India and the judiciary, as not a reliable source. So
there are so many sources, Nupur, should they choose to. Yeah. The point is this now. They won't. Let me take the case of.
I think just 1 second, just one last point, and I think everybody is missing the woods for the trees. The question here is not particularly about individuals or organizations. The question here is about digital colonization. Because Wikipedia and Google and the collaboration between them that has existed since 2018, there is a lot of money exchange.
Yeah.
You have to realize that there is going to be no fora where any other version other than the left version
but I believe that Google has a responsibility. Google does a lot of business in India. Google, in my view, should distance themselves in every possible way from this prejudiced and motivated. They have to, they should. They have got followers in India. People in India should ask the questions to Google whether Google is involved in any way with Wikipedia. And I'm sure that Google, if it is, will do the right thing. Shelley is calling from Vasai, near Mumbai. Shelley.
Yes, very warm hello to you, all of you over here. And I wish to say that you're doing a great thing by taking out this Wikipedia scandal. And I also wish to say that do you think, Arnab, only one program is sufficient enough to open this thing up, what Wikipedia has been doing to malign the name of India? Is it? Do you think only one program?
No, I don't think so. Shelley, can I say something to you? One program is not enough. One network is not enough. It has to be a campaign. We can participate in the campaign. It will need you and all viewers. We will need to build considerable awareness and continue to put focus on this. That's my view. And Shekhar Vijayan is calling from Bengaluru. Shekhar.
Hi Arnab, how are you? It's nice to hear from you and nice to see all of you there.
Yes.
Arnab, I was listening to what you were saying and what the panel was saying. I think I just have 3 points here. One is the government has to take responsibility here and make sure that the right representation of India happens. I don't think there's any dearth of right-minding Indians. I don't think there's any dearth of right action here. The second thing is tough questions need to be asked from these companies who support this. They don't need to do business in India. The third thing is we need to have a call to action. I think for a long time, Arnab, we've been hearing this about data, about misrepresentation of India, about how it is and what India can do. Yeah. I think this is a new India which is very different and you are at the forefront, Arnab. You've been asking about this at so many intervals, at so many points of time. I think there needs to be concrete action which takes place.
If we do this, Shekhar, will you all back us? If Republic takes the lead, will you back us? Op India already has done great job. Great job Op India has done. I'm so proud of Nupur. I'm proud of Nupur because she puts her money where her mouth is. She really believes in it. She sticks her neck out and she picks up unconventional battles that others don't have the guts to take on, and that's where we are proud of Op India, Mr. Jinping. Now, I'd like others to come in on this as well. Mr. Jinping, I'll give you... Pula, what do you think? Pula and America. Pula and America. We need to stop. Pula.
I definitely sympathize with what you have said about yourself, your eminence. I said today, yesterday, day before, I hope you'll be able to get your rightful stance in this issue. But I simply want to ask you, this Wikipedia and Ms. Nupur Sharma also started in 2011. In 2024, what was the government doing all these days if there was something bad? Was the government asleep? Are they an adequate regulator? Or why did they get up? Why did they sleep if there's something wrong? I always fail to understand why the government never does anything if it is wrong. And one more thing is...
So now that they've woken up, will you back them? Now that they've woken up, will you support them?
No, I want to say there is a lot of...
So you're saying that they were asleep earlier, but now that they've woken up, you will still not support the action?
Arnab Goswami is very well known. You can fight these battles. What I'm saying is the government since 2014 or 10 or whatever, 11, they let these things pass. Secondly, I think government has to be restrained because of Article 19 of the Constitution. There is something there. The freedom of speech. Eventually, when this goes to court, that is the battle they wage. That this is part of freedom of speech. Whether we are an intermediary, whether we are a publisher,
I expected this. I expected this argument, and characteristically, Pulla has put that out. Freedom of speech. Truth. Is the truth editable? Or is the truth absolute? Are you what you claim to be? I have no problem. If Wikipedia says we are biased, we are not a freely editable encyclopedia by anyone and everyone. If they admit what they are, I don't have a problem. It's the stance they take. and then the truth about them which does not match. Freedom of expression argument. Nupur's counter.
1 second. Sir, I don't, I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with you, but Republic says that you're pro-DMK. Now, freedom of speech, classic freedom of speech, if Wikipedia was upholding it, would mean that the Hindu, for example, which is, historically pro-DMK, it would be editable, it would be citable on Wikipedia saying that DMK is a secular party. And Op India would be citable on India criticizing DMK for being historically anti-Hindu and continuing to be anti-Hindu. An encyclopedia should provide both sides of the argument. That is classical freedom of expression. And I, for one, would be all for it. If Wikipedia was okay with the citation, 1 second, sir, let me finish, with the citation of both sides of the coin, what pro-DMK newspaper is saying and what those newspapers or news publications that believe that DMK is anti-Hindu, what they are saying. And both are given equal weightage and both are cited on the page about DMK. Yeah. I would have been the first person to support Wikipedia. One, that's not what they do. They will only write what's pro-DMK because essentially they would support any party.
Any anti-BJP, yeah. And tomorrow if DMK goes with BJP, they'll change the page.
Sir, two. Second point, you said that the, 1 second, sir, I'll just finish quickly. I'll just finish quickly, sir. 1 second. You're much older to me, sir. I don't want to heckle you. Quickly. You said that this government was sleeping for the past 10 years, right? I happen to agree with you, and this is going to go down in history as me agreeing with a pro-DMK voice. The government was sleeping for the past 10 years. Now that it has woken up, now that it is taking action against Wikipedia, sir, in all your wisdom and experience, why are you not supporting the government when you yourself are saying that the government was sleeping for 10 years? Now that it is woken up, you should be in favor and you should be supporting.
I'll tell you why. This is not a one-party state. It's not a one-party country. There's a multiple. You have every voice. There can be 14 crore newspapers. It can't be that I should agree with you or you should agree with
100%.
me.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, to which my counter is, if I may come into this very interesting point in the debate, if that is the point, and I want to get America into this, if Wikipedia truly is some kind of a banyan tree that presents in its own lofty language information on all branches of knowledge, unquote, then in my view it must decide whether this wisdom and knowledge also justifies misinformation, canards, lies and misrepresentation. And if it does, they must say we do that because we believe that to be the truth. This is not what an encyclopedia does. America, now, let me give you another example out here. Wikipedia under Modi's leadership, quote, India has experienced democratic backsliding or the weakening of democratic institutions, individual rights, freedom of expression. Narendra Modi remains a controversial figure domestically and internationally, having, quote, evidence, unquote, of an, quote, exclusionary social agenda, unquote. This is childish editing. It is the kind of editing where you tell someone, pick up bad words on Modi, find a reference, and put it in your footnotes and put it out.
Quote the the counter to it.
And then the counter to it would be that he's won his third election. India will be the third largest economy. Yeah. He has seen the largest infrastructure investment. The false allegations against him were proven untrue in a court of law. He's among the most popular leaders in the world. He took a national interest position on Ukraine, and he has headed some form of government for 21 years. Kindly keep quiet.
No, also this backsliding thing, at least...
Backsliding, their favorite word, backsliding. They're forever sliding.
Wikipedia should also code research that counters VDEM, which is Soros funded. You should cite that as well, then it's fair.
Superb arguments tonight, lot of calls. Before I go to Upasana in Hyderabad, I welcome on the back foot, America and Narayanan tonight. America.
Whatever you talked about Wikipedia bounces off the wall and sticks on you. You exactly said whatever you said about Wikipedia is also applicable to you. You are biased. I am not here to defend Wikipedia.
And we are allowed to be biased because we are publishers. So declare Wikipedia publisher.
I'm going to walk out. I'm going to walk out.
Don't walk out or sit out or stand out. Argue tonight. Don't run. Don't run, America. Don't run. Don't run.
I will.
Don't run. Don't run.
Don't give me
Face Nupur if you can, but don't run.
Please.
Don't run. He's running away from you, Nupur. You scared him away.
Please.
Don't give me these thuggish threats. These don't.
Thuggish threats. Nupur is in full flow tonight.
Don't do that.
Excellent.
Mamta Banerjee couldn't. America, I don't even know who the hell you are to do that.
Listen.
So don't try all this nonsense.
She's in full flow tonight. Great.
If you want to, okay, listen. If you want a shouting match, I'm not for it. If you want to listen,
don't play the victim card now. Don't play the victim card. Nobody's shouting at you.
I'm okay with it.
Nobody really cares what you're okay with or not. There's an argument, please counter it. A publisher is allowed to be biased because it has an editorial policy. Wikipedia, if it's declared a publisher, it can be biased.
Do I have a floor?
Intermediary and
I don't know if you have a floor or
have the floor.
No, you have the floor without having a flow of thoughts.
If you want to heckle,
do you have a point?
If somebody is talking, you should listen. You should listen and then finish up. Listen, what's the point? Don't call me. I don't want to come. I really don't want to come and no. All I am requesting you is, if you give me 2 minutes, just allow me to talk for 2 minutes. It's okay with me.
Allowed. Stop protesting. Allowed. You're allowed, sir.
Okay, thank you. We are wasting a lot of time. But coming back, I think it is okay to regulate things. But in a democracy, right now, you have an ability to say what Wikipedia is saying wrong. I think you should. But to say that they cannot publish this is anti-democratic. The most important thing in a democracy is to point out the errors of omission and commission of the government. It is important. Someone has to point out to the king that the king is wearing no clothes.
I'm failing to follow.
There has to be, you need to give more place for the opposition to criticize, because this government, and including your channel, has put in a lot of misinformation and untruth and fake news.
Well, I think that your argument is as intellectually complex as Gulliver's Travels. I want to go to Sandeep Ghosh right now. Sandeep Ghosh is on the debate. Sandeep.
Three things.
No, Sandeep is also on the front foot tonight.
No, so Mr. America, 3 things. First of all, therefore, are you saying Wikipedia is an opposition mouthpiece, is an opposition platform? If that is so, let them come up front. That's saying that is our job. We want to speak truth to power, etc. And then, as Nupur was saying, either they call themselves an aggregator and say we are neutral and we are a banyan tree, as you are saying, and as Twitter used to once say that we are the digital public square, etc. Either you say that, or you say, no, we have our points of view, we promote a certain point of view, and that's why we are here for. So let them come clean on that score. I think that is very important. And the second thing, what I was taking of Arnab, the point I want to add, I think some of your viewers who call us in, who said something very right, that, this is a much bigger scale war. And some of your contemporaries and peers in media, this is not a political thing. This is not Congress versus BJP, etc. Tomorrow they can be at the receiving end of this kind of misinformation. Their pages can be taken down. Those editors, I think they need to all join in.
True. I think this needs to be a public campaign. Upasana is on the call from Hyderabad. Upasana.
Hey, hi Arnab.
Hi Upasana. Hi. Very well, yes.
Go ahead.
So Arnab, I want to share something that happened today. My friend has come from US and she wanted to watch, she wanted to follow US election. And I suggested your channel and your name. That you can watch him and it's a good coverage and everything. So before watching your channel, she just went to Wikipedia and read about you and the channel, and she was not very impressed about it. She was like, I don't think I want to watch him. All right. So I said, no. I've been watching him for last 16 years, and he's good. You must watch. And then she's sitting here with me and watching you, and the tagline that you've used there for Trump versus media, she was very impressed with that. So that point that I'm trying to make here, Arnab, is that they are spreading a lot of misinformation about, not only about you, but about a lot of things about India and a lot of other things. Okay, so when you were saying that you want to take legal stand against them, so you must do that.
Absolutely, Upasana. I'd say this. See that I first of all tell your friend, give her my regards, and say that if she goes by Wikipedia, I'm probably locked up in Tihar jail right now for the gravest offences against the country and for working against the interests of Bharat. The point is, it's not about me. Look at what they say about targeting of the Hindu community, our ancient religion. They say that some academics question the use of the term Hinduphobia as a quote-unquote popular weapon employed by affluent Hindu diaspora in stifling critical academic discourses on Hinduism. I mean, why would you put this out at a time when Hindus have been under attack in various parts of the world? Why would you downplay murderous attacks on the Hindu community in Bangladesh? And how long can that be allowed? I think what we are doing here is a counter-argument, which is why once again, Savio, we must say that there are very few people like Nupur in this country who base their arguments on the basis of reason. I would request everyone in the country to read Nupur's work on Wikipedia. When the history of Indian journalism will be written, let me tell you, her work on the violence against Hindus during the Jahangirpuri riots and on Wikipedia will be monumental tomes based on solid research. Read it. Read it, Vivek.
All right-wing literature should be discarded.
Yeah. Read it.
All right-wing literature discarded. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
And that is what they write.
Yeah.
You know, and it should be protested. If you question the Wikipedia, it should be protested.
Mr. Pro CPIM, if you had accepted it, I would have.
I don't write lousy stuff like you.
Another word
never questions the Prime Minister.
I don't take those people seriously.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I don't take communists seriously. I don't take communists seriously who go and murder.
You are just a pro-government mouthpiece.
And make the mother.
And ladies and gentlemen, we have some intense coverage of the US election. And of course, you have a choice of watching foreign channels for the US elections, American channels. But if you wish to understand what it means from an Indian perspective at a time when no US network has any objectivity, please tune into Republic. We have agency feeds coming in, latest pictures, and a lot of live inputs from around the world, especially from all the critical parts of the US and the decision-making states. So that's coming up. Viewers, I'll see you tomorrow. But the big debate on madrasa education and the bias in the US media on the 2024 presidential elections is after a break. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night and goodbye.
Time for a quick breather. Arnab will be right back with the debate.
Co-powered by Jaguar Bath & Light.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
I don't care for no songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. All I want is a touch of love.
Director, the taste of success.
In one of the most consequential elections of our lifetime, and we have momentum. It is on our side. Can you feel it? And we have the momentum because our campaign is tapping into the ambitions, the aspirations, and the dreams of the American people. Because we are optimistic and excited about what we can do together. And make no mistake, we will win. Because here's what everyone here knows. When you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. And we have an opportunity in this election to finally turn the page on a decade of politics driven by fear and division. We are done with that, and we are exhausted with it. Well, you all know what we say. We are.
इतिहास गवाह है, जब भी जाति के नाम पर, क्षेत्र के नाम पर, भाषा के नाम पर बंटे हैं, तो निर्ममता से कटे भी हैं.
Co-powered by Jaguar Bath and Light.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
Songs and proses. I don't care for no sweet boys with roses. I'm too busy, baby, making plans on how to get me one of them man. All I want is a touch of the